Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Transformational Storytellers show. We are here once again on a Thursday with a transformational storyteller, someone who's making a big impact in the world. And today, my guest is an example of this and more. And you're going to fall in love with her because she is not only impressive, but she is a sweetheart. and so I am going to introduce my guest. She's a best selling author, an award winning author as well. She's a keynote speaker. She's being featured on TEDx twice. That's in English and in Spanish. Rosa Cao Liu, she's a growth and empowerment mentor, and she is amazing because her mission is to guide young professional immigrants so they can develop a mindset that and a confidence that can help them break into the workforce so they can launch their career success. And isn't that amazing to have a successful career? Let me tell you also that Rosa has over 10 years of experience in human resources, in mentoring, in coaching. Oh my goodness, she has the whole package. She also holds a BBA in Management and Human Resources from the University of Toronto. And her experience that she's going to be talking about has strengthened her strategic vision, her empathy, and her commitment of supporting others unconditional in being both authentic and resilient in their growth. And I'm going to be sharing Rosa's information so you can connect with her in the show notes. So stay tuned for that. Hi, Rosa.
Hi, Elena. Thank you for having me today. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, I am so excited that you're here. You look amazing. And I know that everyone is going to be inspired with your story. Rosa's story in the Gifts of Pain book is called From Self Doubt to Self Empowerment. And I am really excited that she's going to share that story with us today. And Rosa, I don't want to take more time. I would love for you to read your story with our audience, share your story with our audience as it is in the chapter, and just definitely share your journey, which has been a journey of resilience and strength.
Thank you. Thank you, Elena. Well, my chapter is called, as you mentioned, from self-doubt to self-empowerment. And I was a young Asian Latin American immigrant born in Venezuela and of Chinese descent who left everything behind to start a new life in a different country at the mere age of 17. And with a heavy heart, I said farewell to my family, my friends, and neighbors in hopes of finding a better and brighter future in Canada. At that time, I barely knew how to say the word hello, and I felt so frustrated that I could not communicate how I was feeling and what I needed. The language barrier made me feel intimidated, and I felt so discouraged to speak up because I was afraid of not being understood or laughed at, or even laughed at for my pronunciation. I often compare myself and I often compare myself and my English skills to others and refrain from even trying to speak up whenever I went out. And then one day, I found this concept of the growth mindset by Carol Dweck. And she explained that the growth mindset is the belief that abilities can be developed and that by using our effort, we can use this as a driving force toward learning, seeing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow and develop new skills. So then that's when I understood that if I wanted to improve, I needed to stop comparing myself to others and instead really start comparing myself to who I was yesterday. And unexpectedly, that's when the ROSE method was born. ROSE is my acronym for my four-step process. R for remembering our roots, for remembering your roots. O for outdoing yourself. S for seeking opportunities, and E for ensuring consistency.
Wow. Wow. I can, I'm sure that everyone is resonating with this story. Ali in the chat is sharing and has a question or a comment. When you find yourself, you find your permanent home. And for me to think about you as a 17-year-old girl in a new place without the support of your family, without the comforts of a life that you knew, and struggling to communicate what you needed, what you wanted, and expressing yourself, but also having all these challenges with your identity and your your purpose, really, and to see who you are today and all of the difference that you're making in the world, and also in teaching this rose method that you have developed. And I know that you teach other methods, and I invite everyone to look up your TEDx talk that talks about the CASA framework. You might have to turn on subtitles for that one, but I would love for you to tune into that one as well. And hopefully, we have a moment to talk about this as well in a little bit. But I just really honor you for sharing your story, for letting us know that it's possible, and sharing about the mindset book that led you to develop this process. So, before I ask you about your process of growth and empowerment, I would love for you to let me know and let everybody know, because we know this is a difficult story. This is very vulnerable for you to share. Why do you feel it's important to share our stories openly? And you have certainly done that through your speaking, through your keynotes, through the different books in which you're featured, the podcast where you're interviewed. So how do you do this, and what motivates you to share your story so openly with others?
Thank you for asking that question. I think that's an excellent question. And one of the things that I've learned and just through storytelling is that with storytelling, you are able to connect with others on a deeper level. And that's because when you construct and create and draft a story, there's like clarity of like a through line, there's an intention, and there's also an impact. And that's why it makes it so powerful, because it helps us connect on a personal, emotional, and even spiritual level in ways that we couldn't otherwise do. And by sharing our stories, we become vulnerable. And with that level of vulnerability, we are able to show up with our truest and authentic selves. And that's what really connects with others, that energy, that authenticity with others. And when I started this story system with you, I had so many ideas all over the place, but this story system really helped me have that clarity of thought and a simple and easy to follow structure that I could implement, which I'm really, really thankful. So I thank you for creating this story system, because it has allowed me to be clear and concise in my messaging and that level of impact. And it has helped me be more of a community, like have that level of impact that I can help others in my community, in the community of helping young professional immigrants overcome these self-limiting beliefs so they can break into the workforce and launch their career successfully. And as you mentioned, as a mentor and coach, this story framework has enabled me and empowered me, not just me, but also my community, to be able to navigate these challenges of adapting to a new country and having that language barrier and overcoming that transition to a new culture, there's so many things that we can discover and relate and connect on a level and help each other and pay forward.
Yeah. I love that. Oh my goodness, so powerful. And I really love that, and thank you so much for the comments on the story method. And I really love that. I just got excited when you talked about the creating a successful career and encouraging the workforce as someone is going into it, because I I think that it's a very, very serious problem in our society today when people don't have an aligned career, and when they feel so dissatisfied in the workplace, when they also maybe go through challenges that are unnecessary and could have been avoided in the workplace. So I got really excited when you were sharing about that, because I would love for you to tell us what about this work is so just fulfilling to you, but also why is it so essential in the world today?
That's a very important question. And I'm so glad that you brought it up because as an immigrant myself, I went through so many challenges and I didn't know how to get into the workforce. The language barrier was significantly, it made the process of finding a job a lot harder. And overcoming all these challenges is like definitely not easy. So that's what really motivated me to help other young professional immigrants who went through what I actually went through or are going through that, so that they can find and develop that confidence and that mindset to break into the workforce and launch their career success. And that's why because I specialized in human resources, I learned all the strategies and the techniques and like the tips in how to get into the workforce, and having someone who can really help you and not just on a spiritual and energetic level, but also knowing someone who has been through your shoes. It's something that I'm really passionate about, and I'm a passionate and an advocate of coaching, and that's why I started this mission and helping other young professional immigrants, providing the service of helping them with their resume, cover letter, and interview preparation, not just because of my professional career, but because I've been through their shoes and I know what it feels like to not being able to get your job because you don't have the resources or the techniques or the strategies to find your foot in the door per se.
Yeah,
So, yeah. So
yeah,
others can connect with me on LinkedIn if they are interested in working with me.
yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I will have all of your information in the show notes, because I do believe that it is important to seek mentorship and coaching and consulting and advice from someone who not only experienced in the industry, but also has lived experience and understands where you're coming from, but also not only the challenges, but the mindset. And you mentioned earlier limiting beliefs, and everyone has them. So there's definitely no shame in having limiting beliefs. We all have them. We coaches have coaches. And it's really beautiful the work that you're doing, coming from your story of struggle and using that pain to empower others. So I'm so grateful for the work that you do. And what I got from your share is so powerful, because I think that when they work with you, they will be able to not only prepare this kit that is going to empower them to get hired, but also they won't have to settle for something that's below their possibilities, below their potential, because you are going to not only give them the tools and the confidence, instill or inspire the confidence, but also to open up their world to so many more possibilities. So that is just really essential in the world. Thank you for doing that. I definitely wish I knew you when I when I was back then.
We can
In
always
that
go back in
situation.
time, right?
Yes, exactly. But I'm glad that many people have the opportunity to work with you and to gain a different perspective in the hiring process and to get both sides of the equation. Because one thing that I appreciate is not only that you have lived experience and understand, like you say, you being in their shoes, but also you know what recruiters are looking for. You know how recruiters consume this information and what the output is going to look like. So I appreciate that you do that. And something else that I want to know about is when people work with you, can you tell me a little bit more about what that looks like? So you said you help them fine tune their resume, fine tune their cover letter, optimize their LinkedIn, where they can also find you on LinkedIn. Um, but once they contact you and they hire you, what does the process look like, and why should someone go through this process?
That's a great question. And it when someone comes to me, the first thing that I do is really understand where they're at and where they're starting and what they know and what they don't know. And then we look at what strategies we can help you that were because some people have different are at different stages in their job seeking process, and also they have different knowledge about the different stages as well. So the first thing is then an assessment, and also looking at what is it that their goals are, what are their goals, what are they trying to get, what are their salary expectations, and then we can work on providing a strategy session in terms of how we can achieve that within the means and within your area of expertise, the resources that you can offer to the employers, and really dive deep into that coaching, not just on a mindset level, but also the strategy level and also execution and implementation. There will be so many times, like even like when you find information online, is sometimes not enough, and that's why the power of coaching comes in. Because I have the insights of being on both sides of the equation. I've helped so many university students, and I volunteered at the University of Toronto in the past with resume, cover letters, and interviews preparation. So those are one of the things that you can get excited of working with me, because I really care about your success and about diving deep into how we can get you to where you want to go.
I love that. So it's a roadmap to getting hired in a successful career and starting and jump starting a successful career. And
Exactly.
yeah, and they work directly with you. I really love that. That's definitely a gift, because it's customized to what they need. And I think that's, really the issue with some we have so much information available. There are so many just ways to um, find out tips, maybe about LinkedIn, maybe about cover letters and resumes online, because the whole wide internet has a lot of resources. But something that happens is that I know that one tip doesn't work across all industries. It doesn't work across all circumstances. It doesn't work across all companies. And so having someone look at your specific materials, but also someone who's going to, like you said, start with knowing where you're at and what your specific circumstances are and your goals and all of those things. It's really valuable. I think that's just priceless, actually.
I
Would you
must
say
agree.
that?
Yes, like even through like even through as I do my coaching, I get coach as well. So it's just like a dual relationship where we both benefit in this process.
Absolutely. I believe in that 100% in always continuing your education and your experience. And I know that and I know you personally, so I can definitely vouch for your work ethic and your dedication and your commitment to excellence. It's very inspiring, and it really speaks to why you are here today and why you have over 10 years of experience in this industry, and you have been really growing and going up the ladder in your industry, and now you have an entrepreneurial, uh, I would say, baby.
Yes, the early stages.
So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Thank you. I am starting this baby journey of being a digital entrepreneur where I can help a coach. I can help with coaching and formalizing this business. I am still under the work with that, so I will notify the name of the business and everything once it's already settled. But I am in the early stages of this entrepreneurial journey, which I am so excited. I'm learning so much, and I'm just so excited to be able to give back to this community and do it in a much more higher scale than I used to before.
I love it. We are gaining such a valuable um, entrepreneur. And yes, thank you for saying that, because I want everyone to connect with you, and make sure you're following on LinkedIn so that you can be in on the announcement, and stay tuned to see the big reveal of Rosa's new business, and which is not new. It's just a new way of providing her services, and very very excited to be part of that and share it with everyone else as well. I definitely want to make sure that everyone gets access to Rosa's expertise. And before we end, I want to say that you don't only coach, but you also are a speaker. And so tell us a little bit, just real briefly, about what inspired you to become a speaker, and what you seek to contribute to the world through your speaking, because I know you're really powerful. I've seen you in person, and I know that I've read the testimonials. I know that people love to see you speak, and the people who hire you have highest praises for you. So tell us about that.
Thank you. Well, the reason why I became a speaker, it was not something that I had already prepared. It's something that came down at the very beginning of my after I graduated from university. I was just simply sharing a story with a stranger, my story in particular, and I didn't realize the impact that I was making. Like after I shared this story with a stranger, he mentioned that, "Wow, your Rosa, your story is so inspiring. It can help so many people, especially immigrants." And I was like, no way. How is that? I don't think my story is worth sharing. And a few months later, I continued to share my story because that's my story. And a few more people came to me and actually came and said, "Your story is so inspiring that it changed my life." So
Mm.
that's what really made the click for me to go on this journey on be able to share my story on a platform or to where I can inspire and serve more people and have a legacy that can outlive outside like and stay there and just be able to have that story to inspire others because there's so many people who have different nationalities, different identities, and living in different countries. They have to move a lot, And not just that, and just like learning a new language, exploring the identity piece, the multicultural aspect, adapting the language barrier, and just being able to overcome all of this, it can feel like you're alone, but in fact, you're not. So that's
Mm.
what really inspired me to share this journey with others, especially on a speaking way. And by the way, I was not a really good speaker then. So I can say for those who are looking to get into speaking, just go out there and believe in your story and honor your story because that's what makes you the most authentic self. And as I said before, the more authentic you are, the more you will be able to connect with others. And this is the person that I become today because I started to believe in myself and and trust myself.
Oh my goodness. That is the best advice. I love it. Yeah, I think that we second guess ourselves so much, and for you to say, "Oh, I can't believe my story is powerful," or anyone wants to hear it, and now to say, if you're if you have a story, go ahead and share it authentically. I think that's a 180. That's what we call a 180. And I'm so grateful that you share that with our audience, because I think that we can be our worst enemies when it comes to the gifts that we have to share with others. And your story is definitely a gift, Rosa. And there are so many layers to it. It is so powerful. Like, the TEDx talks and the book chapters are only scratching the surface of what you have been through, and all of the resilience that you have had to exercise along your journey. And as a even as a 17-year-old, and as a young professional immigrant, and I am just so grateful that you decided to believe in your story, and that you're sharing the same with others, the same message, because I believe that, and you just said it, not only that we don't feel alone in our experiences, but I believe that as we share our stories, we strengthen ourselves as well. I think it's the gift that keeps on giving, and that you can leave a legacy for others when you share your story. And you're already building such a powerful legacy. I am so proud of you, so grateful for the work that you're doing to help other young immigrant professionals, and to, just really help others understand how their identity, who they are, and what they have to bring to the table, and why it matters so much. Is there anything that you want to share that I haven't asked you yet?
That's a great question, and there's so many things I could say, but it's mostly having that level of awareness that you're not alone in this journey, and that when you're constantly comparing yourself to others, you won't be able to become the best version of yourself because now you're comparing apples to oranges, which is not fair and is a disservice to you because you have so much to offer just by just being you. And instead of looking out, then look inward and look at your journey. That's what will make the difference, not just in your story and where you're at, but how you can project your directory and choose, okay, this is the person I am today, and I want to be this person, and how to go there without comparing yourself to others, because that is a distraction and is not just focus.
Oh, this is so good. This is inspired. I love that, because comparison is definitely one of those obstacles that prevent us from achieving our true potential. Thank you for that. Comparison is a distraction. Everybody write that down, quote Rosa everywhere. Because these are true words. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, before we end, I always like to ask if you could share one step that can everyone who's listening or watching can use to get started on the journey, specifically, using the rose method. And would you please repeat what rose stands for? um, and basically, how do we get started with this mindset of growth and empowerment?
Thank you. And then just to remind everyone, the ROSE method stands for R for remembering your roots, O for outdoing ourselves, S for seeking opportunities, and E for ensuring consistency. So I invite everyone to think of something that they've been wanting to do that is totally outside of your comfort zone and commit to doing one simple step and taking the steps towards it.
Thank you. Oh my goodness. Okay, so again, thank you, Rosa, for being here, for sharing your time and your wisdom with us. I am sure everyone is as inspired as I am with your story and your journey, but also so grateful for your insights that are so powerful. And thank you for the work that you're doing so that young immigrant professionals can enter the workforce in a powerful, impactful, and confident way. And so that they can build successful careers that they can be proud of and they can feel fulfilled and live a legacy just like you're doing. For everybody else, make sure that you're connecting with Rosa on the on her LinkedIn account, but also make sure that you're checking the show notes for any other ways to connect with Rosa, because you want to stay tuned for her big reveal. And you also want to make sure that if you know someone who's looking for a fantastic and engaging speaker, or someone who needs to enter the workforce, that you can send them Rosa's way, because she will not disappoint you. I guarantee that. Thank you, Rosa.
Thank you for having me. I'm so thankful to be here.
You're welcome, my love. All right, everybody, I love you. I will see you at the next Transformational Storyteller Show. Bye bye.